clerk, the public library, the senior center, manager's office, and any other suggestions that for departments that someone may think of, and also the human resource department. I didn't put the fire department or the police department because I know that they already have a youth program. So that's that. So moving on to the next slide. The program would consist of interviews. So we would make it a full learning program whereby we would post the jobs on our social media boards, in addition to sending the job ad to local colleges and universities. We would then conduct interviews and select the top candidates. The individuals that I'm imagining to conduct the interviews are the department heads or whomever the township manager appoints to conduct the interview for the specific position. Qualifications would need to be submitted, such as transcripts, which shows that they are high school students of Willingboro, in addition to college transcripts. And of course, resumes should be submitted as well. Council's purpose of creating something like that. The purpose is to offer educational experience to the youth in our community. So a few learning opportunities consist of rotating through departments. So the rotating through departments, I'm imagining that would be the youth, the junior level, which is the 11th and 12th graders, whereby they would spend maybe 2 weeks in one department and then kind of float through other areas of the municipality to give them some knowledge base and educational experience, live experience. So shadowing, they would be shadowing a senior executive for the day, and it could be shadowing anyone who the department head or township manager appoints, sitting in meetings, etc. Light administrative job training, such as possibly typing up a letter or an email that is to be sent out, where of course they would be shadowing the person who's giving them directions to do this. Small independent projects. I anticipate the budget expense to be about $30,000. Again, the college students are the students that will be paid. I broke it down to, I picked like 7 departments. So I figured 1 college student per department. So that's approximately, if we're paying $15 per hour and they're working Monday through Thursday, I figured give them off the Friday, but make it an 8-hour work day. So, and then of course the students, the high school students, 11 through 12, since they're not a paid position, they would spend a partial business day. So maybe they enter the work day at the first of the work day, and then we would provide a lunch, free lunch, and then at approximately 1 p.m. they would be dismissed. The next slide. Now this next slide is the second part of my presentation, which has to do with after reviewing and participating in the budget. These are just a few areas that I pulled out that I wanted to highlight as far as my thoughts and your consideration. So the township manager's budget, he had listed, it was designed, it was called manager contractual. This is a short stand, clear point. It's the name, it's what he identified it as. It's requesting $15,000. I found this request to be extraordinary, and it is $10,000 more than what was needed for the last 2 years. I recommend moving this request to totally removing it, or if absolutely needed, keeping it at $5,700. And the other item that he had listed on his is the online services. And it was a few acronyms there listed there, VIM, MAS, and MBM, and requesting $25,000 for this area. I also find this request to be extraordinary and is at $17,000 more than was needed for the last 2 years. I recommend removing this request in total, or if it's absolutely needed, keeping it at $7,668. I do remember some discussion with regard to this area, and it was explained that this would be a more automated as opposed to manual functioning in summary, is my understanding of this part of the process. So I find that if you were able to do it manually and we have not hired multiple staff or created multiple new departments, I find that at this time, especially coming out of COVID, just getting back and forth, I think that at this time, $25,000 additional would be extraordinary for this time. The next slide I have is the municipal court's budget. The only thing that I found in there that was a little bit over was the municipal courts miscellaneous. And they listed it there: shredding, discarding material, record retention, etc. They requested $2,000. I found this request to be extraordinary and $15,000 more than was needed for the last 2 years. Actually, 1,500. That's a mistake. 1,500 more. So I recommend keeping it at 500. In the past, it was 500. So I feel that's more, unless they have a more reasonable explanation of why they need 2,000. I recommend keeping it at 1,000 if it needs to be increased, as opposed to 1,500. Again, that 1,000 is a mistake. It should be 1,500. More review and thoughts of the budget. Recreation Department's budget. The public events, Jazz Fest, Artist Stage, Porta Potties, T-shirts, caterer, they're requesting $100,000 this year. I find this request to be extraordinary and $15,000 more than was needed during the last 2 years. I recommend keeping it at $15,000. Currently, the Recreation Department has only presented events for one ethnic group. I recommend adding the $15,000 request to another type of event for the community, and if possible, an event that recognizes other ethnic and cultural groups. So that's all I have for this evening. Thank you for listening. And at this time, I'm open to questions, comments, suggestions on this presentation.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ferrone. That was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The only question I had, the internship program.
Yeah.
I did want to ask Mr. Harris. I know because this would be something for them. I just want to see, and he doesn't have to, I'm not asking for a decision right now, but at this time, from your purview, what do you think, does the township have the capacity to take on such an endeavor? I think it's a great initiative, but I don't, at this time, as we're structuring and making sure that we have, we're tightening up, our organization, do you have the capacity for this year or next year, I'm sorry, next year to take on this endeavor?
And Madam Mayor, before he answers real quick, I forgot to add this part. This is a summer program, so I'm anticipating it to be like a 2-month program. I'm thinking college students are out of school in May, so I was thinking like June, July, and then it would be over in August, but I didn't include that. So I wanted to add
all right,
that.
summer. Okay, thank you.
8 weeks.
So the internship program overall, generally as described, is not a bad idea. There is an applicable use for interns within our organization, especially short-term summer type interns. The only problem that I have with the presentation is the juniors grades 11 and 12, because the Department of Labor has really come down on internship programs for high school students and things like that, because what they have discovered over the years that the interns aren't really doing work related to some type of strong educational component. They've been used for like free labor for municipalities and things like that. So there has to be a very strict program established between the school and between the school and the municipality of what the internship program would be, what the learning objectives for the students in grades 11 and 12 would be, and it would have to be approved. We just can't put them into an unpaid internship program. However, if you want to pay them, then they would be paid, or interns like everyone else. So the non-paid element, I'm not really in favor of. But again, there is some practical application. I think it would need some defining. So, that's not something that needs to be completely stricken off the table. It would just need to be refined and clearly defined.
Absolutely. I agree. This is definitely a draft. I actually worked on this program at TD Bank when I worked in HR there. they didn't have 11th and 12th graders though. We only used college students.
Mhm.
But the idea for the junior grades is because I imagine that they're going to be looking into college at that grade level. And so I kind of wanted them to be able to explore in person of different avenues of, career base. So, and I knew what you're saying as far as like child labor and things like that. But I was just, if it can fit in the budget to pay them, I was just trying to really be conscientious of the money that we have this year. And also the idea for the 12th and grade is to have them to look forward to something once they are, in the college level, to come back and to be paid. But yeah, okay. So just with that, any other thoughts, Mr.
And
Harris?
then I know you had brought up consideration of spreading out the money, not just to put the huge amount into Jazz Fest.
Mhm.
I would like to continue that conversation maybe tomorrow when recreation is online. I would just like to have a, more broader conversation with that.
Okay.
Unless council or if the rest of council has any other questions. And I see the subtraction. I can look at that. I think those are, we can look at that. The requests that you put, the manager's contractual and online services.
Mhm.
I think we can discuss.
So
In fullness. Go ahead, Mr. Harris.
if I may interject a quick question. I thought the conversation tonight was to structure the council's budget.
Yeah, we are.
For
Yeah.
2023 and not really go through, well, we're going to cut this and cut that and those types of discussions.
Okay, and we will, so we can discuss the Councilwoman Perone, we do see it, and so it's on the record, and we will circle back to this discussion. This one was really to go through our thing, but I think you presented a great presentation, and I think it definitely opens up the conversation.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And I definitely want to hear from the rest of the council as well, like just different things. And it's just a direction that I'd like for us to go into, because every year that we go over the budget, we listen to the presentations and then we just vote yes or no. But I don't really see a lot of council's, thoughts and ideas as far as what we'd like to see. And I think, with the form of governance that we have, if we are in agreement, even if we decided to do one program this year or whatever, that's just a program that I thought of, but where we all agree, let's try this for this year.
Right.
So if we could, later, if you want to have another meeting later for you, so I can hear from the council. If you want.
So unless council has anything to say right now, I think we can incorporate what you're saying into when we're going through our line items and see if we can add it if the rest of council agrees.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Blajan, can you just put up that first line? And this is the working sheet that we have from the last few years. After we discuss what we want, then I can present again a more formal presentation.
And this is what Ivy sent today at 4:40. Is that what we're looking at?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure which. I got to look at what she sent.
It says budget worksheet. I got it at 4:40 today.
Ms. Blajan, is there a way to expand that?
That's correct. That's the same sheet, Council.
Okay.
It's small, Mayor.
I don't know. We can't. It look like you can. Okay, if it look like you can expand it a little bit, but if not, it's all right. All right, and then is Ms. Eusebia on the line? So we'll start out.
Yes, I am, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Diggs. All right, can you I just have a couple questions as we go through this. For the town council awards and dues, we did budget $4,000. And I'm sorry if you gave that to me today, but the 3,500, what's making that amount up?
Me, I don't have Edmund's
Okay,
in front of me, so
okay, that's fine.
I already can.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, what was your
Bunch.
question to her?
township council award and awards and dues. I was seeing what made that amount up, where we spent it, because we went up to 3,500. I'm trying to see if we need more or less. So Madam Clerk, is this like the proclamations and certificates?
I'm not sure, Mayor,
Okay.
but no, it wouldn't
Alright.
be that. It wouldn't be that, Mayor. So I'm not sure what that awards and dues.
Okay. You dropped off, the screen change, Ms. Blige.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that awards and dues are, but it wouldn't be the proclamations.
Are you able to get it back on?
I'm off, we off?
Yeah, we're off.
We back?
Yes.
Okay.
Township council travel expense. We did drop this down, but we end up going back up to 5,000. And we do travel for seminars and council related functions. For this line, I would recommend we go back up to 5,000, if not 5,500 to 6,000. As now we're back into the swing of things. I know during COVID, we had a drastic drop, but now that things are back open, council does utilize this funding to get further educations and keep abreast of municipal education.
Yes, I agree, Mayor. This year, you can clearly see that we went back up, and I think that's due to the League of Municipalities being back in person. And I imagine that's something that we should continue to go to and participate in.
Okay. Township council printing. I'm sorry, any other council have any input?
Madam Mayor, the only thing I'm not sure if this is the appropriate conversation, but I did bring it up when we got back from the municipal with regards to the hotel expense and
Incidentals.
the clerk having some more control over making sure things are paid for that we've already agreed on. I'm not sure if that's the time to speak about that.
We can, and actually I can bring Mr. Harris just in that conversation, because it probably will, they're working on a process or how we're going to do this. So Mr. Harris,
Okay.
Do we have any input on this particular instance? Because I know that there is a cost, when we do travel.
So, Mayor, after that last League of Municipalities conference, that caused me to kind of look into what the actual travel policies and things are for the township. And I'm actually in the process of updating some of them because a lot of them are not clear and I think kind of abused. But items like that are completely up to the council's discretion.
Okay.
Now, when you're talking about, methods of paying for things, we are bound by the local public contracts law. And I do understand that sometimes they are inconvenient and inefficient, especially in the execution of short notice or emergency expenditures, but we will comply with what the law allows us to do. And I apologize now in advance for the inconvenience that they may cause, but the law is the law and it will be followed.
No, understand. But I guess can we set a date? I want to say January, no later than February, just some clear, clear process that council follows. We know the incidentals can be an issue. So is there any way that we can accommodate or is, within the law?
I do. I was actually in the process of preparing an ordinance that I was going to present to you in 2023 for that. And, in the different elements, the council can discuss as to, how do they want to handle those particular items. I think you're kind of referring to the use of purchasing cards. And although purchasing cards are a form of payment that the municipality can use for certain things, there are certain rules and regulations by which you can use them. And you cannot just consider that to be like a credit card, because it's not a credit card. And there are very specific applications to which they can be utilized. So, we can go through all of that. We are working on implementing them and expanding them to allow some more convenience for use. But again, we need to be in compliance with what the law provides as far as their usage, and handing them out and just giving them and say, go to your conference and spend is not one of those methods.
I don't think that's not the intention, is to
No.
spend. It's just the basic, what goes with going to a conference, and
Right.
sometimes incidentals are part of the hotel stay, which is accommodated for. So it's not just to spend. It's really, making allowances for.
Yes,
what-
but when I say that, but you can't utilize them at restaurants and things like that. They're
Okay, yeah,
very
understood.
specific purposes or
Okay.
how they can be used. So when I say spend, I don't mean you're going to just be out frivolously utilizing it. I'm just, I
Okay.
guess, generally for means that they're just not designed to be utilized for. That's a better
Okay.
explanation.
All right, I appreciate that. And I guess everybody will have training on how, we utilize, I'm saying procurement cards, but just even the process of how, our expenses, and I'll say, since we're on travel expenses, our travel expenses are accommodated for.
Right.
Okay. Is everybody okay to move on to the next? Councilman Perone? Was that sufficient that we will have a in-depth discussion?
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
fine. I think what he's doing as far as looking at the policies is a good start. All I know is that when I was at the convention, the hotel did say other municipalities use a card. And we were able to get it resolved. We did use the card in the end. There was some hiccups there, but if the other municipalities are doing it, they're also following the law. So I'm just saying, let's mimic those municipalities and, because some of those fees were not refundable. Not to get too in depth into that discussion, I'm sure all of you know, because I did express to you what was going on. But I think that's a good start. If he's looking at the policies, that's where an ordinance is, let's do that. And then we'll have another further discussion to look at what it says, going
Okay.
forward for next year.
All right, thank you.
And I'll just say, Councilwoman Perone, if you had an expense that you claim is unreimbursable, you can submit a receipt and you can be reimbursed.
Yeah, this one was rather large. It was like it was rather large as far as what they were requesting, like $600.
I don't
that
mean
they
to cut
want-
you off, Councilman Perone. We got 10 minutes.
Yeah,
And
no,
I-
I'm
so we
okay
can
with
have a
moving forward.
discussion on that.
Yeah.
I understand, like,
Yeah, $50, I'm 680,
Right.
you're not gonna pay me back, so whatever, that's not okay. But yeah, like, we can move forward.
Okay. Town council printing. I
I'd like
think-
to increase this to 200. Just to have
to
something.
cover this expense. I just,
Yeah.
Ms. Diggs or Madam Clerk, is there any clarification on these expenses and where they come out of council's budget? Where were these monies applied?
Yeah, I was confused by this item as well, because, most of the printing is done by the clerk, so what do you mean by printing from the council's printing? Is it whenever we ask her to print something from us, that's what's being deducted from that item?
I'm thinking that's probably business cards.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
all right,
I'm
okay.
sorry, I didn't print any of that out either,
Okay.
Mayor.
Yeah, so we did, okay, so then I would allow for 200. Or, well, yeah, I don't know if that covered everybody. Did the 190 cover everybody or,
I still have cards. I don't even need any more.
okay, you don't need any, okay.
But I
All
think
right,
If there are title changes, though, we would need to
right.
get new cards. So I
Right.
would recommend keeping it in the budget.
Yeah, it's the issue between 200 and 500. I'm looking at, because the year before was 388.99.
Mhm.
So 200 might not be sufficient.
and
So then
did we use any this year?
one night, so we didn't allot for anything and we used about $200.
Okay, that's the 190.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So for this line item, I would allot 200. I don't need any more. I got two different, well, I might need a different one, but I think 200 would be sufficient.
I agree.
Okay. Township council training. We didn't spend I would recommend keeping this one at 5,000. We didn't spend as much this year as last year, but I do think there's potential for next year for more training. I am interested in the municipal budgeting training. I think other council members have indicated some interest in further training.
And there was some other trainings that were taking place at the municipal. And again,
Mhm.
these were items that I'm supposed to pay for in advance. And so what I don't understand is if the money is there, why wasn't it already paid for? And literally I can go and sit down and have the training. That's why I'm there. So I shouldn't have to pay for my own training when we see that there's $5,000 there. And again, just goes back to the situation with the card. And yes, the municipal, in some ways, they said that the payment is not something that you order a check by. It's something that you have to pay, via card. So I just want to point that out again, because there was some training that I did not attend because it was not paid for.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize it wasn't paid for.
Right.
So
So I think that's more process and getting the process down pat, making sure that we're accommodated and taken care of, by, before the day. So I think that can be sorted out. I don't think it's an issue of the money. I don't think it was an issue of having the money. I just think I don't know, but I think if we sort the process out, everything will be straightened out.
well, actually, Madam Clerk sent an email that this one particular training needed to be paid for with a card. And so she said, pay for it and then she'll reimburse us.
Right,
I
but
got
the
that.
owner, but she's, the mayor's right, Councilman Peron. These classes were paid for, just like y'all hotels were paid for. PO was signed by the, league. And somewhere between coming back here, that signed PO did not get back to finance to cut that check.
Okay,
That's why they said the only way that it could be done was to pay by card.
I see. Okay, all right.
So we'll just make sure we just go, we make sure we just go through the process and we'll double check before we get to the league. So I think it should be all right next year. All right, anybody else for the training, up or down? Okay. Special project, that's the big bulk of our budget, the 150,000. My understanding was that this was for litigation and such. However, I think parades and committee was taken out of this, certain things were taken out of this, and I just want to make sure for special projects.
The parades and events should have been taken out of that account.
I think because I thought we had a line item, but apparently I believe that it was taken out of that. I mean, it's all our budget, but I think going forward, we're going to have the specific line items for all of these.
Well, we do have a line, and I'm looking at the parades and events committee now, and it says 0. That's not accurate.
So I think last year we did not have the GL codes. for the different boards and commissions, and they were added so that as we go forward, we can appropriate for specific boards and commissions
Mhm.
rather than having it all couched in council special projects. Last year, we did put an allotment in council special projects for all of the boards and committees to use, but it was not separated out per committee. And that's why you see 0 for previous years, because we did spend money on events and things, but there was never a GL code to track that expense.
So I do remember there being a GL code, and I remember actually seeing the figure of 25,000. And I saw that the chief finance officer was actually trying to use money for, I think it was security or something like that. And I think there was some sort of mistake or whatever have you, so she reversed it. But there was a line item that said 25,000, and we had the council special projects, which was separated. There was a different line item.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, I remember seeing it too, but and we're gonna have to write a comment for the parades and committees so that we know we weren't operating at 0 all these years and just bumped it up. So we're gonna have to make a note somewhere because it wasn't captured. I thought council submitted it with a different line item, but
Yeah.
in the budgets that's been going out, it hasn't reflected that. So going forward, we're going to make sure it's in there, for the budget for what the final budget is. But I would like to, Ms. Diggs, can we just make a note on that this was previously incorporated into the special projects, as far as I understand?
I don't understand, Mayor. Can you repeat your comment?
Can we make a note? I think they have like special notes under some of these line items that
Yeah.
there was an allotment. There was an allotment at least for the last 2 years, as
Yeah.
far as I know. It was at least $25,000 for parades and committees that they can utilize.
Okay, and
I
that
just want to
all
make
that was-
a special note so that people, going forward, people don't think we always had zeros going across. There was, we were allotting money for that specific purpose.
Oh, yeah. Okay, can put it in the
Thank you.
notes.
Okay, thank you. And for special parade, so for special projects, again, that's for litigation. Was there any special projects that council was interested in going for the year 2020? For me, I did want to allot. I looked at it for a grant writer for us, and I think that was around $60,000. Also, if it's okay with council, again, this is just a discussion. I would have liked to allot a $10,000 for an employee party, whether it's the holiday party or appreciation party. Also, you had 60,000 for the grant writer. And I didn't know if there was anything else. Those were the two.
And I know we had added some amount for the master plan. We used $8,000 that this year, but did not get to the full allotment that we had for this year. So I'd like to roll those funds. I know we can't roll it over. We have to appropriate
Right.
again for those, as they'll be going back into the reserve or transferred. But I would like to allot for those as we continue to move that project forward.
Okay, and was 10,000, what you said 8,000, was 8,000 suffice?
8,000 is what we use this year. I can send a
Okay.
proposal for what the other elements will cost.
All right, because we spent $8,000 for the planner, right? And I
Yes,
think we did
8,000.
we allotted 10,000. We have that in our we appropriated that somewhere else in their line item as a
Oh,
town
okay.
planner.
It wasn't under the special projects.
Mm-mm. As far as I understand, the special projects, we did utilize some stuff, like some election stuff and all of that. We utilized some of that in the special projects, I believe, from what I was looking at. But yeah, I think that 8,000 came out of the planners, but.
Okay,
township
can we
planners.
get a breakdown, Ms. Diggs? Can we get a breakdown of what the special projects, what is in the special projects?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I know it is 6:46 now. I would like to allow another 6 minutes for budget discussions. We did get started a couple minutes later. So I just want to just extend another 6 minutes, and then we can go into our cannabis discussion. Any other things? Nothing else for right now for special projects? I think Councilwoman froze. Oh, no, okay,
I'm here.
okay. All right. We can move on to Parades and Events Committee. I'm still comfortable allowing 25,000 for that. Okay. And now for council boards and commissions. Deputy Mayor, do you have a breakdown?
I believe we allotted 2,000 for each of the additional committees last year. But I don't have the breakdown of how we allowed it, or if that
Or
was
broke
the
it down?
actual number. Yeah.
Okay, so can I ask council in the next couple of weeks, can they just submit a request for the committees that they're liaisons to? And then we can just calculate that and submit to Ms. Eusebia, so Ms. Diggs, so that she's clear
Okay.
on a direction. Thank you.
Yep, okay.
Can you, anything else down there, Ms. Balajian? And we can go past this page. All right, so this is just the professionals. I just want to make sure we're okay with these numbers, the auditors, 86,600 allotted. And trying to see if Ms. Eusebia's. From your recollection, Ms. Diggs, we didn't reach the threshold for the auditor, correct?
We allocated 86,600
Yeah,
based on the contract, and that's the amount that was spent.
we spent exactly 86,600.
Yes, ma'am. It
Okay.
was based on the contract, the signed contract.
Okay, and that's the most they can charge, or are any
Oh,
other
that-
bills coming through?
That's what they charged for 2022. And that's the amount that was stipulated in that 2022 contract.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You can go down, Miss Blige. Can you move over? You can go. So these are the breakdowns for this is special counts, let's see, attorney special projects. And we haven't gone over these limits, have we, Ms.
No,
Diggs?
not yet. No, hopefully not.
Yeah. So is council okay keeping this budget item the same?
I'm just confused by the handwriting. What are we saying?
Miss Diggs broke down the different Serenian is our Fair Housing Council.
And so we're paying them 17,000?
That's their contract amount.
That's
They're
our
not
limit.
to exceed.
Yeah, they're not to exceed. Mhm.
And then we have, Go
Mr.
ahead.
Are we able to get actuals for this year? And I know the year isn't closed out, which is, we're going through this earlier this year than we have in previous years. But I'd like to see the actuals for these.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
okay, Ms. Blige, you can go down. Okay, so this is labor negotiations, our labor attorney. Would it be easier for everyone if we just got you want the breakdown from Ms. Diggs first?
Yeah.
Okay. Councilwoman Perone?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Diggs, I'll send you what I had from last year, because last year we did have like the breakdown individual. I thought we did, so I'll follow up with you on that.
Okay, sure.
Is there any clarification that you need from council, Ms. Diggs? That would make your job easier if we explained further? Anything that you need from us in terms of the
Ye-
budget?
Yes, if you can, put in your request on that worksheet with notes, that would be very helpful.
On which worksheet? I'm sorry.
The
You just
worksheet
want the
that was
breakdown?
just up, yeah, the one that was just up.
Okay, okay.
And where it has notes, you just give me a detailed breakdown of, the professional and the amount that you intend to have for the professional services.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mayor, you just want me to send this, what I just have to everybody?
Yes. Mr. Harris, is there anything that you need clarification on? We're still in discussion, but is there anything from this quick discussion that you would need clarification on?
No, I think your discussions are pretty clear and straightforward.
Okay, thank you. Any council members have anything else they wanted to add or anything else they would like to see? No?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right, thank you. We'll follow up. When Ms. Blige sends you up, I'll send a follow-up email on some requests and some considerations.
Can I leave now? Or
Yes.
you
Thank
still,
you.
okay.
Thank you, Ms. Diggs.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you, Council.
Thank
And
you,
so
Ms.
we'll,
Diggs.
Ms. Councilwoman Perone, I just wanted to add, for the internship, I know the MUA does do internship program. So you might want to just connect with one of the commissioners or the executive director to see how they're doing it. Because I know they do have a program that they've been doing for a couple of years.
Okay, well, how do you want to proceed with that? You said you wanted to speak
Yeah,
with,
just because Mr. Harris said he just needed it a little bit more detailed and a little bit more clarification on what you're looking for in terms of the internship. I think it's a great initiative idea, but what really do you want to see? And that might be an off conversation with him also, a direct conversation with Mr. Harris. And then, we can circle into the conversation. We can discuss this, in the next couple of council meetings.
I mean, I could call him, but I think it would be more appropriate if Mr. Harris called them, only because he would have to identify his staff and see how that intertwines with the day-to-day. For me, what I laid out, and I could provide the presentation to him, that's basically what I would ask the commissioners about their program. But I think it'll probably be more of a healthier conversation for Mr. Harris to have with the representatives there.
Well, when I say clarification and direction, I don't mean from the commissioners, I mean from the council, because I want to know exactly
Okay,
what
gotcha.
it is that you are looking to achieve. Saying we'll set up an internship program, what does that mean? Do you want people to come in and learn about municipal finance, or are you just looking for people to get experience in typing and sending emails?
Well, okay, so on the presentation that I presented, I gave like a few, I think 7 different departments. So each department would basically create a job description. And it would be along the lines of what their job expectations are and the learning objectives to it, at the end of that. But I think what Madam Mayor said it's a good point. If the MUA is already doing it, maybe they can shed some light on what they're doing. And I think with the college, they can get college credit too, some credit towards.
And I say, Councilwoman Perrone, I think it's a good idea for you to think, because it is a commissioner initiative. So even just get some.
Okay.
So, they might have like a template that, just some discussion, and then you can bring it back to council. And I think we can kind of align and then give the township manager direction on, to pursue it.
Sure. Yep, I can do that.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, thank you, council, for that conversation. We're going to move on to our presentations from the cannabis applications. We did have applications go out the last few months, and the deadline was in November. So we have 5 applications. So we're just here to listen to their presentations. We will not be making a decision tonight. We will be looking to make a decision tomorrow after some discussion. But today we're just here to listen to the presentations. We can start with the Kush Dispensary LLC.
And Mayor, just for your information, I do have a prior engagement at 8 p.m. So I will have to leave at that time.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Kushbu. I have other members from the Kush Dispensary LLC. May I have a Chirali Patel, my attorney, on a call? My VP of Operation, Dr. Nirmit Patel, on a call.
Who is it?
Dr. Nirmit Patel, Chirali Patel, Nick Esley, and Sharon Montgomery.
And I would ask, all presentations, can we keep it under 10 minutes?
Yeah, sure, that will be definitely.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I'm looking for Patel. I don't see Patel.
Do you see a
He's
Dr.
he's
Nirmit?
in.
You see him?
Nirmit?
Yes.
Hey, this is Nirmit Patel. How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
We also have Nick Easley, who's trying to join into the meeting as well. He just sent me a message saying that he's unable to join in.
He's in.
Nick is in?
Yeah, he's in the attendees. There he
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Do you
So-
see a Chirali Patel, my attorney?
I'm on.
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Is that everybody?
I believe so. Nick is the
Okay.
one who's Nick Easley is the one who's going to do the presentation. He said he is in, but he's not able to share his screen. So is that something we can do so he's able to share the screen with you?
Hey, super duper. Nick Easley, I'm
Nick.
in now.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, we're ready. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Councilwoman, and Councilman. My name is Kushbu Choksi, and I'm owner of Kush Dispensary LLC. On this call, we have a Chirali Patel, our cannabis attorney, Dr. Nirmit Patel, VP of Operation, Sharon Montgomery, Community Relation Manager, and our partner, Nick Easley from 3C. I have a Bachelor degree of Arts and Integrated Math and Science from William Patterson University. I currently work at TerraCycle based out of Trenton as an operational quality assurance manager, where I'm responsible for leading all the regulatory and certification inspections, including regulatory audits by the Food and Drug Administration's FDA. As I'm battling a cold, Nick Easley from 3C will be doing the presentation on behalf of Kush Dispensary. Thank you for your time, and we will answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Well, super good afternoon, everyone. Central time here. Are you able to see the screen as well as hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Super. Well, just as a kind of disclaimer, we'll send this over to the council afterwards for review, or if you have any additional follow-up questions, both Jignesh and Khushbu will be available. My name is Nick Easley. I'm CEO of 3C Consulting. I've been in the cannabis industry now for 16 years. Military disabled vet, got into the Colorado medical industry myself in 2006. So from the first commercial licenses in Colorado for medical cannabis to adult use cannabis, I've been a part owner of cannabis companies now for over a decade and a half. Currently, so far, my team has helped to secure 14 licenses throughout the state of New Jersey, all of which are 100% minority-owned businesses that we chose to operate with. When we think about some of the most important things when we do retail applications from Colorado to other states, and it's a pure disclaimer, we are really just business advisors that are helping the team members and the team owners with their business development, having instituted a few different 100 dispensary cannabis operations around the United States. Some of the biggest things that are most important to any team when we come in to do retail is making sure that we're going to come into a community that wants to work with us, that really has a need for this sort of economic development, job creation, and also is going to allow us to really set a high standard in a new state for what legal adult use cannabis and inclusion can mean. So this team being 100% minority-owned business, all New Jersey residents that have really come from highly regulated industries with pharmacy ownership, dealing with Control 1 substances, managing charts of accounts, books, and records. So their focus with all of their other businesses has always been focusing on those communities and creating long-term relationships. And they would hope to do in the municipality here. Some of the most important things that the team will really consider is how to leverage what's working in other Jersey, as well as how to run other businesses or legal cannabis businesses in the state of New Jersey. The proposed site, 400 John F. Kennedy Way, right kind of in the middle. And one of the reasons we like this is being so close to other states that are not legal yet, and many other municipalities that hadn't opted in, with Interstate 295 and the 130 up to the north, potentially have over 20,000 different trips per day of people that are going to be in this general proximity. So knowing your population density, kind of income levels, and where the other stores are, which are all owned by very large, rich, white Canadian public companies like Curaleaf, this would be one of the first minority-owned businesses in this part of New Jersey that could operate a cannabis business. Something that definitely sets this team apart is their experience in other businesses, how they like to use vendors that are in the local community within that local municipality, as well as the surrounding county and areas for impacts hires, as well as keeping revenue within that community. Within the first 3 years, this company could easily be up to about 40 different employees, especially as social use lounge is considered delivery and the hours with multiple different shifts there. Just some of the proposed pieces about the design of this dispensary, we really try to focus on a good consumer experience to where new customers can enter and ask lots of questions, be it about CBD products for their pets, or maybe someone in their family had a chronic medical condition, or they're just their first time ever experiencing legal adult use cannabis, as well as then returning customers that want to process things a little quicker, all the way down to having pre-order pickup. So someone who's already placed an order through our app, it's filled and delivered. We do ID verification and make sure that that's a compliant sale. Now, some of the most important things we think about, not just the design when we come into a community, it's mostly from the types of products and the experience, but most importantly of all is really the safety and security of the community, our staff, and our customers. So everything for this facility, being compliant with the New Jersey NJAC 1730, for all of the required aspects with cannabis security, both inside and out, for tracking products, logging, how we deal with cash management, all the way even down to like active shooter trainings, diversity trainings, inclusion trainings, sexual harassment trainings. It's our workers and our staff, and staff know that they're more important to us than any revenue that we've got insurance. So we want to make sure that everyone knows how to deal with any situation that could be there, and that we're not going to be a nuisance for the community. Having plenty of parking, on-site third-party security during all shifts, before, during, and after, and working with local community EMS, fire, and police, just so that they know if there was an emergency, we can do practice early on. So very, very open to working with the community there. So from cameras, backup systems, and things that you've seen in the local application, we've really considered the limited access area, where our staff would be, where our customers and patients would be, and how transactions would happen safely and efficiently. And compared to other dispensaries that might do like weighing things out and so forth, we have
You have
everything.
less than 4 minutes.
Thank you, ma'am. Everything would be prepackaged in this. So there would never be a vault that has cannabis products and cannabis cash included, like very separate. Cash management happens daily. And then consumers are really able to come in, see a variety of products, talk about those sorts of products, and be able to safely leave with those. But processing high volume, especially in New Jersey, with less than 20 retail stores for 9 million people. We definitely see New Jersey as being one of the most up and coming high revenue possibilities for adult use cannabis in the Northeast. New York's definitely a little slower than New Jersey in this process, and Massachusetts and Maine are just quite a long drive. And there's no going across state lines with these sorts of products. So we'll also make sure to educate consumers on how to use these appropriately, how to keep these locked up safe from kids, from pets, how to not resell these products, and make sure they know how to use these in a safe way and something different above and beyond the requirements of the state. On all of our labels and packages have poison control numbers, QR codes, and numbers for a community kind of watch program. So if someone does have anything to tell us, we're 100% available to work with them. And we'll work with your municipality for any of the design considerations when it comes to signage, exterior lining, safety and security plans, and so forth. Inside the facility, from motion detectors, pan tilt zoom cameras, per code, we have to keep digital records for 4 years on this, but every product, every dollar, every sale, every transaction is tracked, logged, and not only for compliance reasons, but also for data management to ensure that we have a really good experience, because it's a new product that's being sold legally, not being sold in the illicit market. The amount of local taxes, state taxes, and jobs that can be created, just transitioning. So it's really a pleasure for KUSH to be able to do this in a responsible and secure way. Working with the community also, just because it's legal doesn't mean everyone should have to smell this. I, as a disabled vet personally, big fan of how cannabis smells, but a lot of people in the community aren't. So we want to make sure that we have very good air filtration systems. All packages are secured within the facility. So there's no open product or direct smoking in the dispensary, for example. And then outside as well, not having loitering people using adult use products in the parking lot, and really having a good, secure kind of environment. Our highest priority outside of the team owners currently will be engaging and employing staff that are in a 5 to 15 mile radius, and not just minimum hour kind of wages. KUSH really seeks to do an active living wage of a $15 an hour minimum, as well as providing career opportunities there for local people, because we will need our general manager, our assistant manager, and all of the local retail sales.
You have 1 minute.
So if there's any other questions from the city council, from the mayor, myself, as a vendor of KUSH Dispensary, and like I said, a decade and a half of experience in this, was really excited when I got to see your municipality opt in and go through your codes and regulations, and know that KUSH and Jignesh and Khushbu have been wonderful to work with. They've already gone through all of the conditional processes for the state, have all of their applications ready for the conversion for the adult use side, minus the local license application. And it's a great looking location with plenty of parking. So we know we wouldn't be a nuisance to the community, and would definitely be honored and humbled to work with you in the development of this project. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Easley. Does council have any questions or comments for KUSH Dispensary LLC?
I just had one question, Mayor.
Yes.
Are there any other alternative locations that you have for consideration?
Yes, ma'am. First thing we always look at is the state compliance, but also with the local municipality, with your zoning, sensitive use for like churches, schools, daycares, addiction centers. We had identified a few sites. One of the issues with being federally illegal, many landowners have large banks that will not allow them to lease to cannabis operators. So having owner's consent is of paramount. So they did identify a few other locations, none that had the amount of parking or would allow a safe traffic flow for the high volume of customers that we would expect at the store. So if that is an issue, we are completely open to working with you to identifying something that would be more suitable for you if needed.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Easley. We will be making a decision tomorrow, but you can stick around. There may be some questions from the public that you may be able to answer after our public comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next we'll have Mary Trees Market LLC.
Hello, this is Eli.
Madam Clerk, you can take Mr. Easley off the panelist.
Ms. Shane, can you hear me? Where is Eli?
Yes, I can hear you.
Host, you got him?
I'm not sure who else needs to be a part of this discussion, but
Can
I
you-
think that should be sufficient. If Diana is on here, I don't want to take too much time.
Oh, okay, so Eli is with Diana. Okay, I think that is, okay.
Thanks, everybody. Good evening, Madam Mayor and councilmen and women. Thank you, members of the council, for the opportunity to present to you today on why we believe Mary's Tree Market is an ideal operator for cannabis retail in your town. Here, let me turn my camera on. Okay, perfect. So Mary's Tree Market is a conditionally licensed applicant and is ready to submit for an annual conversion if awarded a municipal resolution tomorrow, hopefully. So first and foremost, we have a proven track record of success in the cannabis industry. Oh, I just realized I'm not sharing my screen, so let me do that. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is our organizational structure. Let me go back here. So we have a proven track record of success in the cannabis industry. Our team has over a decade of experience in cultivation, processing, and the sale of cannabis products. We have consistently exceeded industry standards for quality and customer satisfaction. Our team, two of which, Danny and Matt, come out of Washington State. They were the co-founders of NWCS, which is a tier 3 cultivator, one of the biggest cultivators in Washington State. In addition to our experience, sorry, I'm battling a cold right now. In addition to our experience in the field, we are deeply committed to the communities in which we operate. We believe in the power of cannabis to improve people's lives, and we're dedicated to being good neighbors and contributing to the local economy. We have a combined 25 years of developed expertise in the cannabis industry. We've launched 2 Massachusetts cannabis startups, both of which being dispensaries. We have experience running a cannabis real estate company where we do basically lease to a cultivator, and we managed all the build outs there. And then as well as Cultivera, which is a software SaaS company that Matt and Danny were the co-founders of. We have a lot of experience in highly regulated industries, banking, childcare. Members of our team have comprehensive experience in the service industry, real estate. I don't have to go too deep into there. Let's talk about the proposed location. So we've secured property control at 498 Beverly Rancocas Road. It's the former Dollar General store in between Blink Fitness and Gaetano Steaks. This location meets all buffer and zoning requirements in the ordinance. It's 8,000 square feet of space. We think this is going to be a beautiful store. We haven't gone too deep into fixtures and whatnot, so we don't have renderings yet, given the timeline that we had to submit for the application. But it's going to be a beautiful store, and I think that the members of the community would absolutely love this location, given the abundance of parking and the access to major throughways and whatnot. So what being a responsible employer means to us is paying over minimum wage. So at all of our stores, we have a minimum wage of 17 an hour. We definitely prioritize diversity in the workplace, economic development, employee mentor programs. We'll be establishing relationships with local businesses and organizations. And we're committed to working with the city council and community leaders to ensure that our store is a positive addition to the town. And one of the key ways we plan to do this is by implementing robust social responsibility and compliance programs. We take our responsibility to operate a safe and responsible business very seriously, and we have a team of experts in place to ensure that we're meeting all relevant regulations and standards. I won't go too deep into the New Jersey regulations, but we plan on following every single regulation there is, as we did in Massachusetts at our dispensaries. So
You have 5 minutes.
thank you. We also plan to give back to the community through various charitable initiatives and partnerships. We believe that being a good corporate citizen is an integral part of being a successful business, and we're committed to investing in the long-term success of Willingboro. 50% of our hires will be from Willingboro or Burlington County. They'll be prioritized for leadership roles. We'll be advertising in various publications that the community has, one of which being the Burlington County American Jobs Center. If there's any other recommendations that the council has, we'll definitely take it into consideration. We plan on advertising and hiring from zip codes that have been impacted by the cannabis prohibition and are socioeconomically disadvantaged. All right. So in conclusion, we believe that Mary's Tree Market is an ideal operator for cannabis retail store in Willingboro due to our ideal location, commitment to safety, being good neighbors, providing high quality products and customer service, bringing economic benefits to the community. We look forward to the opportunity to work with the city council and the community to bring a responsible and professional cannabis store to Willingboro, and we appreciate the consideration. That is all. I don't want to take too much more of your time. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but we look forward to hearing more tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eli. Are there any questions from council?
None from me, Mayor.
Okay, no. Okay, thank you. If you can stick around, or somebody from your team can stick around after public comment, just to see, there may or may not be any questions, but
Sure.
you just don't mind sticking around.
No worries. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next we'll go on to Blue Violet Cannabis LLC.
You have anyone else that would like to be on? Mr. Menteros? You're on mute if you're talking.
Sorry.
That's
Yes.
okay.
Sorry about that, Brenda.
No worries. Is it just you?
No, it's me, my business partner, Jacob Levinson,
Okay.
Jim Duggan from Delco Development, Mike McQueenie from Holy Hoag, Greg D'Agostino, and Jacob Hicks. If you could make Mike Valentino the presenter, I'll go. Yeah.
Is Mike McQueenie yours?
Yes.
Okay.
And Michael Valenti also. He's going to be doing he's going to show the slides. Okay. Okay, so thanks a lot for having us here. I'll go ahead and start the presentation. Mayor McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Whitfield, council members, I'm joined today with my business partner, Jacob Levinson. My other business partner, Benjamin Colton, could not be with us because he's a New Jersey chiropractor and he's currently attending some clients. But I'm also joined by Jim Duggan, our Delco Development real estate partner, Michael McQueenie from Foley Hoag, our regulatory attorney, Greg D'Agostino, and Jacob Hicks from Trenex Strategies. They've assisted us with our CRC application, municipal and community outreach, and every other thing that's come up throughout this process. As you know, we're seeking your support for approval to open a Class 5 retail dispensary in Williamboro Township. In the next couple of minutes, we're going to be providing some highlights of ourselves, our business plan, and why Blue Violet Cannabis is the best fit for the Class 5 retailer operator in Williamboro Township. On October 28th, the CRC awarded our conditional application for a Class 5 minority-owned business. We propose that this retail location be in 4390 Route 130 in Williamboro. The property is currently owned by Delco Development, which is an experienced developer in mixed use and commercial real estate in Williamboro and the surrounding townships. Now, I know with our submittal application, it was robust and it has our bios there if you want to make a note for reference on page 230. But I'll go ahead and I'll give you a little brief introduction of myself. My name's Theo Armenteros. I'm actually going to be moving and relocating to Williamboro Township. For the past 7 years, I've co-founded and operated a retail e-commerce coffee company called Chimera Coffee. It was actually the first coffee company to infuse coffee and vitamins, nootropics, basically. Chimera is a direct-to-consumer business. We sell our products domestically and internationally. Our biggest markets outside the US are Australia and New Zealand, and as well as importing and exporting to other countries. Since I started, I've been involved in the formulation, proprietary formula regulation, compliance, and certificates pertaining to food products. So I'm well-versed in the approval process for foods and dietary supplements. One of the key milestones that translate directly to retail operation is we've received a 98 customer satisfaction, over thousands of reviews on Amazon. That's one of our greatest achievements since it takes in 7 years of customer feedback. We've won multiple Amazon Choice Awards. And at Chimera, I oversee all the quality assurance and quality controls in our products, as well as the customer concerns, right? This is one of my aspects in the daily business that translate directly into the cannabis market, since I know the importance of the regulatory process. And that brings me back to my origin. I was originally born and raised in the Dominican Republic. After graduating from WPI in Massachusetts, I started a career in Turner Construction, where my main job was submitting construction documents for FDA approval for the laboratories that we built for Genzyme Pharmaceutical. Then I moved back to Dominican Republic, where I spent 15 years in real estate development. We did over $45 million in constructions in those 15 years. And that's where I actually met Jacob, my business partner, who I'll pass the floor to now.
Thanks, Theo. Council members, I also want to take a moment to thank you for the audience to present our application. I'm the founder of, and I've run a wholesale distributor and retailer of flooring in the US and internationally for the past decade. We move hundreds of containers annually sourced from Asia and Europe to markets throughout the United States and Latin America. And this experience has given me a deep expertise in supply chain management and retail, skills that are directly applicable to the operation of our Class 5 license. I also studied finance and accounting at Babson College, and I'm presently responsible for these functions within the Blue Violet Cannabis entity. So I want to go into why we selected Willingboro. This was not an accident. This was a strategic decision to locate our business in Western New Jersey because we felt that it was best aligned with our business plan. We're looking to create a sustainable long-term business, and we were not attracted by the hyper-competitive and excessive cost basis that we were seeing in the Manhattan suburbs, which were the target of so many applications early on. Our proposed location at 4390 Route 130 is a standout, unique opportunity for a dispensary. This is the only site that we are pursuing. It's a pad location that we are going to build to suit with one of the premier developers in Willingboro and the surrounding area. It is a well-trafficked, well-organized shopping center that meets all the zoning requirements and ordinances. And the fact that we're going to be able to build to suit should not be underestimated. This is going to give us unbelievable efficiencies and practical uses in the eventual site that we would hopefully bring to market from the standpoint of traffic management, visitor flow, and overall experience. The site has excellent ingress, fantastic egress, and if you're aware of the location, it has ample parking. We also have one adjacent tenant that's going to be a complementary business on our out parcel. And we're going to be able to meet all of our design. Thank you. We're going to be able to meet all of our design and aesthetic goals with this location. Safety and security is a top concern, and it's been a top focus of ours in the development of this project. When we were in Willingboro, we had the opportunity to meet with Captain Jeffrey Perez, with Detective Witham, with Lieutenant Bankston, and we feel very confident that along with our internal security team, we're going to be able to develop a fantastic site in Willingboro that is both safe, secure, and inviting for our visitors. We also had wonderful meetings with a number of people at ATAP, and it helped us get a sense for the community's drive to improve and better, especially with the young members of the community. Everyone we've met has just been so overwhelmingly welcoming, and it's made us even more encouraged to locate our business here. We love the feel. You know, frankly, it reminded me a lot of where I grew up outside of Atlanta. There's a lot of natural beauty. You can find quiet areas. And at the same time, you get a sense that there is a drive to develop business. I want to touch a little bit on our financing and our capital because this is such an important component of a cannabis dispensary. We secured a loan agreement in the amount of $1.25 million to fund our project. And we included a full disclosure of this document and our financial partners for full transparency in our application. We've worked with all of our investors for an extended period of time. Some of them are actually family members. And if for any reason we have cost overruns, our financial partners have committed fully to providing all of the necessary capital, not just to open the door, but to make sure that we have working cap to assure the business can drive through to profitability. So with that, I want to hand it back to Theo. Thank you.
So to conclude, why is Blue Violet the best partner for Willingboro? Well, one of the important things, if you can reference to page 301, you can make a note and just go back later. We're going to hire locally, and it kind of has all our details in there. I'm personally committed to relocating and living in the community. We've secured a premier location in the Willingboro area. We have a local developer with a proven track record. We are fully funded. Jacob and I share enough experience to run and operate a high-performing retail operation. And personally, I'm excited to engage with local nonprofits and see how my business and myself can add a little bit of our support to that. With that, I'm again asking for your vote of support for a resolution to open a Class 5 dispensary in Willingboro. So if you have any questions or comments, everybody in the team's here willing to answer.
And we can also certainly hang around till the end if you want to reserve questions.
I appreciate that. Does council have any comments or questions for Blue Violet?
Just one for now.
Okay.
Thank you for your presentation, by the way. With regards to the community partnership, in what way do you have you secured community partnerships? I did see a few of our township community businesses, such as our police department and so forth. In what way do you have community partnerships with these businesses that you've identified here?
Jacob, do you want to take that, or I'll take it?
Yeah, sure. You know, we reviewed a number of different organizations that were in the area, and Theo and I were both really drawn to ATAP. We haven't had a lot of time in the community up to this point, but you know, we both believe very strongly that it's important to develop the resources of the youngest members of the community, because that's the future. And we're very excited. We've spoken with this organization. We're very excited about the opportunity to engage directly in the classroom or in their facilities in order to be able to lend our experience and help as many people as we can to develop. Because ultimately we hope that long-term this is going to just improve the overall community, improve the economic well-being, and make it a better place for everybody to live and work.
Yeah. And I'd like to add something. We're willing to add our time, more than financially. Just like Jacob and I, we went there and we would just, whatever they need, whatever teachings we can pass on. I'm more than like, I would love that. So.
So what type of I'm still struggling with trying to understand. You're selling cannabis, marijuana. In what way are you referring to some of the organizations that are identified here that you would be working with these groups in a capacity of community partnership? Would it be financial? When you said teaching, you mentioned teaching. It does say nonprofits. They are workforce municipal partnership, but in what way would these organizations be in partnership with you?
In our application, we've made a financial, I guess you can say we've made a financial commitment to support these organizations financially. And then in addition to that, you know, we're running a business at the end of the day, and it's taken a lot of experience in Theo and I's life to get to this point, to give us the background to be able to do this. And these are experiences that we can certainly share. So I'm sure that as we get to know many organizations in the community, we're going to find other opportunities and ways and other organizations that would be a good fit for our participation. But in the short period that we've had, we've done our best to identify good opportunities that would be good uses of our resources, both financially and experientially.
And have you contacted all of these nonprofits and workforce? Have you been in?
We've been in contact with many of them. Not all of them have replied. We in our application, we have a letter of support from ATAP.
We actually, when we were down in Willingboro, we just drove around some, and that's when we drove up to ATAP. We just knocked on their door, and a lot of them, like the NAACP, actually their headquarters are actually in Philly, from what we found online. And yes, that's the extent.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
If I may make a comment, I don't know whom these gentlemen have spoken with at the Willingboro Fire Department or the Willingboro Township Police Department, but those are entities of the township. And I assure you, we have not entered into any municipal partnerships with this organization. And I think it's a little a misrepresentation for them to insinuate that we have a partnership with them when the township does not.
Councilmember Harris, you're absolutely right with that.
He's the township manager. Just correction, Mr. Levinson is Township Manager Harris.
Township Manager Harris,
yes.
You're absolutely right. I apologize for that oversight. We met in person with the Willingboro Township Police Department, and we reached out to the fire department, but we have only spoken with the police department. In that meeting in particular, we shared with them our proposed floor plan, layout, and security plan. and gave them the opportunity to discuss their concerns and to briefly overview the ways in which we're going to design the security plan for the property.
And I appreciate that you took that initiative, but that does not mean we are in partnership together.
You're absolutely right. My apologies.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Madam Mayor.
I was going to say, thank you, Mr. Harris, since that was my concern. So thank you for clearing that up, Mr. Levinson and Mr. Harris.
Dr.
Madam Mayor.
Worthy?
Thank you. I would have to consult with my board of directors to see if they have spoken, if they've provided a letter of support. I'm not aware of a letter of support that was issued from the board to Blue Violet. I do recall we've had several people come by ATAP to introduce themselves to my staff and to myself, but we don't have any partnership or formal partnership with Blue Violet. We do welcome volunteers throughout the community and from businesses. We do have different people, as you know, come in, industry professionals, lead different programs, but I'm not aware of, and neither have I signed a letter of support. So I just wanted to clear that up, that I haven't issued anything. I'll consult with my board, but I don't think that the board issued a letter of support.
Thank you, Dr. Worthy.
Yeah, and that is correct. We've just had emails. I think Jacob misspoke. He might have gotten it confused with the Williamsboro Police Department, that they just sent a letter that we did meet with them. But you are correct. ATAP we just went back and forth on email and expressed our interest in working with them.
Yeah, I think just important to define here that we reached out to all of these groups. Some have responded, some have not responded. Just initiating that we would like to financially contribute to their organization if we were a chosen applicant of Willingboro.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hicks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Just one other question. Maybe I'll just ask it now. I did want to see all the presentations first, but since they're here, to shorten up time as well. With regards to the cannabis, is the cannabis that you're selling for medical use or recreational use, or some sort of form of substance that benefits the individual health-wise?
We are applying for a Class 5 dispensary, which gives us the permission to sell cannabis for recreational use.
Yeah, so it'll be just adult use, so it's non-medical is the short answer here. But at the same point, you know, education and the value of this plan goes a long way for both people who have a medical card license and those who use the plan recreationally.
Mm-hmm. So when you speak of educational, and I'm seeing that because I do see ATAPs, and I do know that it is a youth program organization, and I'm just a little bit concerned as far as when you speak as far as education, what type of education would you be providing?
So education of product, not for children, not for ATAP participants, education of products to consumers and, you know, those 21 years or older who step into the store.
Okay.
So, for example, you know, an indica will help you sleep or relieve anxiety, things of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Blue Violet. If somebody can stick around for questions from the public, that would be great.
Yep.
Certainly.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, council members.
Madam Clerk, we can bring on Main Property Holdings, New Jersey, LLC.
Can you hear us, Ms. Gibbon? If you're
You're on
talking,
mute.
you're mute.
Yeah.
Great, I'm not on mute anymore. Hi, I apologize. With me on the call is our majority owner, Ragda Dalal, and our partner, Jonathan Ringo. Ragda, would you like to introduce yourself? And
Hi,
then
good
I'm
evening.
gonna take the presentation. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Clerk and Council. My name is Ragda Dalal. I'm the majority owner at Main Property Holdings, and we applied for a Class 5 cannabis license. Our location is proposed at 4376 Route 130. I'm joined today by our co-owner, Jonathan Ringo, who's our Willingboro resident. We have Shirali Patel, who is our New Jersey attorney, and our Chief Compliance Officer, Paula Givens. Paula Givens is going to be giving our presentation.
I think you're muted, Ms. Givens, if you're speaking.
Here we go. Screen share. Let's see. Here we go. Hang on one second. Share screen. There you go. Greetings. I'm Paula Givens. I'm a cannabis attorney. I'm a former federal attorney. After 21 years of working a good guy job at the National Labor Relations Board as an employment discrimination lawyer, I jumped into the cannabis industry. That was in 2014. I'm also an owner in the industry. I co-own a medical marijuana manufacturing facility and co-own a cultivation facility license that we're building out in New Jersey in Millville with Ragda Dalal's sister. And Jonathan Ringo is also on the call. So Main Property Holdings has an experienced and talented team. We know retail and we know cannabis retail. Ragda Dalal is the director of retail development presently for a cannabis company and is working with her sister to build out her dispensary in Oxford, Ohio. Ragda's brother, Sal Kanja, another owner, he is presently the manager of family-owned grocery stores. So Ragda and her brother and her other brother, they all grew up in the retail business, right? In a family-owned grocery store. And so Sal Kanja has been managing a grocery store for 10 years, understands selling regulated product. Our other owner is Jonathan Ringo. Some of you might know him as the co-owner of Functional Fitness with Coach Turk and Coach Joel. And I am not a consultant. I'm part of this team. I'm part of the management team. I'm overseeing the compliance of this team. I wrote the entire application. I've written all the SOPs. And I am an employee of this company and will be involved with this company. Our other management is Nadal Zier. Now, Nadal Zier owns 7 dispensaries, 7 Joyology dispensaries, and 2 more are opening soon. She also owns a cultivation facility and a manufacturing facility. And her company, Holistic, is our lender. And we have secured $3 million to build out this project. The $3 million is going to fund the build out, construction, and initial operation until we're cash flow positive. And we also have another local member of the team, Kareem Crawford, who's going to serve as our director of compliance. And he'll serve under me and he'll take over after he's properly trained. So our facility is 4376 Route 130. You can see it here. This is from our sign plan that we submitted in our application. So this is actually how this will look. It's located in a former vacant cell phone store, and it looks, as you can see, it looks just like normal retail, right? Just looks like regular retail.
it's indistinguishable. Our cannabis retailer will be indistinguishable from other retailers on the exterior. And as you can see, it's got glass, but you won't be able to see into the dispensing area. Because that's unlawful per the rules. So the town center, this place has plenty of parking, and that's the primary reason we chose it. There's lots of parking, lots of maneuvering, lots of driving space. Our business will attract other customers to the town center and bring new customers to other businesses there. So the background, some general background about where we are. We are a women-owned business. Ragda Dalal is the managing member and the majority owner. We are Main Property Holdings is a conditionally licensed Class 5 cannabis retailer, having received our approval from the CRC on October 28th. And because I'm a compliance attorney and a professional writer for a living, especially about cannabis, I already have the entire conversion application ready to submit. It's ready. Next, as soon as we have the grace of the city council of the commissioners, we have this ready to go and we can submit it within a week. So having a cannabis retailer in your community, making the difficult choice that you did when you weighed allowing cannabis retailers in your community, one of the important things that you want to know about is safety and security, right? And we presented a detailed safety, security, and diversion prevention plan that's compliant with your
less than
ordinance
5 minutes.
and the administrative rules. Thank you. Our detailed 50-page security plan exceeds the requirements of the CRC's rule, specifically 9.1. And within that, we also presented a detailed security device drawing. And I'm going to try this and try not to make you dizzy and see if, there you go, if I can share with you our detailed drawing. And so we partnered with Sapphire Risk Advisory Group, one of the premier cannabis security advisory groups in the country, to design our facility and design specifically the security aspects of the facility. And we present to you in our application and here today an exceptionally secure facility with far more security devices, burglary alarm, and security surveillance devices than are required under the law and or the ordinance. So we wanted you to see how detailed our plan was and how ready we are to assume the responsibility of securing this facility. And so I presented to you in our application some of our security SOPs. I also presented some of our security signage. And because age verification is so important in our minor prevention plan and, you know, preventing minors from gaining access to cannabis, we also presented to you our detailed age verification procedures to ensure that only individuals 21 years and older are allowed to enter. Another concern for communities is odor mitigation, right? If you make the choice to have cannabis in your community, what you don't want to have is an odor nuisance problem. And within our application, we presented our odor mitigation and response plan that includes the steps that we'll take to make sure that we don't have nuisance odor, including sealing the building, placing inline fans within the HVAC, and training employees on our odor mitigation practices specifically. I think that it's important to note here that when we ask a community to allow us to operate a business in their community, the important thing for us is to communicate that we're for real and to let you know who we are. And so the way that we do that is we become involved before the application. We integrate ourselves into the community before we ask you to believe us that we're going to integrate ourselves into the community. And in June, we held an expungement clinic for individuals who could have their marijuana convictions expunged. We recently sponsored a sneaker dance at JAC Intermediate School through a contribution to the PTA. And we've supported the Born Leaders. And we have planned in the future community involvement. And we've done that through letters of intent that are in our application. And you'll see the letters of intent in our application. The local hiring, we're committed to local hiring. We're committed to hiring 30 employees, 29 to 30 employees initially, starting them at $16.20 an hour, paying them to volunteer. One of the things I didn't mention, and this is off script from what I planned, but you earlier in your meeting were talking about somebody to write a grant, and having a talented grant writer is really, really, really important. And my commitment, our letter of intent to the JAC Intermediate School includes 20 hours of my time to write grants for them, because we committed to them. Let's go back. We committed to them $22,500 a year. And I wanted to commit to them an ability for them to bring in more money through having a talented grant writer help them bring in more money.
Ms. Gibbons,
to
thank
their
you very
PTA.
much. Your time is up.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your consideration.
Thank you very much. Council, do you have any questions or comments for MPH? Councilwoman Corona, if you're talking, you're on mute.
Sorry, yes, I have a question. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. My question, the cannabis, will the cannabis be developed at that site, or will this be imported to the site?
Okay, so under the CRC's regulations, there are transportation requirements, secure transportation requirements. And cannabis cultivators and licensed cannabis manufacturers transport all of that through secure transporters, right? And they transport it to us, and we accept it through the internal state regulatory inventory tracking system metric. And so even in transport, during that transport process, the legal possession of that cannabis has been transferred to the transporter. Once it arrives to us, we check it in, make sure that everything that's on the transport manifest is what's being delivered. And then legal possession in the state tracking system metric transfers to us. And so it's securely transported through the community, through individuals who have the license and ability through the state regulations of the CRC to transport that.
Okay, so once you receive it, it's already packaged. You're not developing it or do anything to it.
Right. So the distinction here is between somebody who grows, manufactures, and packages cannabis, right, versus us who sells it. And in New Jersey, the requirement is that it be in the final packaged form when it's transferred to us. And so unlike some other states, and I had more time with the odor mitigation, I would have told you that one of the reasons that at this particular location that odor is not a big issue is because all of the cannabis is prepackaged. It's not open, it's not deli style, and it's all prepackaged. So yes, all the cannabis comes prepackaged. Each of the items also is packaged with a specific tracking number, so that if any cannabis, for instance, say a package can't be found, we can determine where that is. We have procedures to conduct an investigation and ensure that our inventory through taking a periodic inventories is correct within our physical inventory and electronic inventory.
Okay, so with regard to the odor, that's what drew my question.
Yeah,
you would not have an issue because you're receiving already packaged material.
Right. And it's important. I mean, you still have to do all of the things that we plan to do, but I could tell you from experience that in a facility where all of the cannabis is packaged, that the odor mitigation practices that we have outlined are extremely effective. Our neighbors will not smell it.
Okay, and one last question with regards to the community. You spoke about, I guess it was donations to the. I saw a couple of schools on your presentation. One of the schools, J.A. Cotton School, you had, I think the number was 22,000. Is that, and then you also spoke about grants, but you're speaking of 22,000 that you're committing to giving to PTA. Is that what I understood correctly?
Right? And we have a signed letter of intent with the PTA for that purpose.
Mhm. And that's not a grant. This would be.
This
something
is a contribution, right? My 20 hours of volunteering with them is in addition to that, to help them bring in hopefully matching funds, bring in other funds that the school needs for its support. So it's in the volunteering. My volunteering is in addition to that. That's a cash contribution that doesn't include the volunteering.
Okay, and you spoke about having volunteers come to your shop. So what type of volunteer work would they be doing?
Oh, the volunteering that they would be doing is any volunteering in the local community. So really our only limitation with that, they get 32 hours a year. It accrues eight hours a quarter, and they can even use it in successive days. The only restriction we really have is that it's used within Willingboro. Okay. And so if the community, if the organizations, Born Leaders, or the schools, or any of the other organizations that we're actually partnering with in signed letters of intent require volunteering, we will do that. I am a former member of Rotary. My father's a former president of Rotary. We will become involved in other organizations, but we will start our volunteering with the organizations with whom we have letters of intent already, and then go out to organizations once we're there, unknown to us.
Right. So the volunteer piece, this is, of course, it's volunteer, so they're not being paid, but the package.
Oh, yes, they are.
Oh, they're paid, but okay. Paid.
Oh, right. This is, these, so our 30 employees will be offered 32 paid hours of volunteering annually. And we will work with the community to develop what's a priority, right? What's the priority that year? Where can we best be useful in this community and make ourselves most useful to Willingboro?
Right.
So yeah, they're paid.
Okay, that's great. And that's awesome. So now with regards that you're receiving the packages already developed, what type of work would a volunteer do at your facility?
Okay. Oh, so I'm sorry. So it's our employees that we pay to volunteer in the community, right? So that's yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear. So right, it's our employees who go out into the community who are paid by us to volunteer. And you know what? I didn't want to do the math on what that is a year, 30 employees, because I don't know what our participation is. We're hoping for 100% participation, right? And if we get 100% participation and there's more work to do, we are willing to do that work. I hope you know Jonathan Ringo and the work that Functional Fitness has done in the community. They've been recognized for their community activity, and we share his care for this community. Our partner lives in Willingboro. It matters to us. Willingboro matters to us.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Is that Jonathan?
Yeah. You said what? Who was?
Is that Jonathan?
Yeah, he's up there. We're out of time for a presentation. If you have a couple of words, you can, Madam Clerk, you can open the floor to Mr. Ringo.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, sir.
I'm here. I just didn't want to interject at the wrong time. That's all. Okay, I just wanted to come here to let you all know that I'm not just here as a sign of good faith for Paula and Ragda and the rest of the team. When it was brought to me, I was very stern about it all. I was a little, I wasn't as open right away because Willingboro is a very sacred place to me. I'm from Willingboro. I do everything here. I've devoted a ton of my time to Willingboro. My kids go to school here. My mother's here. I've owned and operated 2 training facilities here. First one being in 2015. I'm sure, Tiffany, I'm sure you're familiar with us. We've done work with ATAP over the years. And like, I just wanted to kind of express how serious I am about this company driving the economy in Willingboro. Like I'm through and through Willingboro all the way. Like it's kind of hard for me to even leave. So with them coming to me, I had to be sure 150% that the strong entities that are in Willingboro would be, I don't want to say financially taken care of, but it needs to be some type of forward progressing for the community. I'm solely against, I was mainly against, very, very much so against an outsider coming in and obtaining this. So that's kind of why I'm here right now. That'll be the last thing I just can't see them helping our community. And that's not me throwing any slight at anyone else. That's just me being a Willingboro resident. I've been with the elementary school here. Like I've always had dreams and aspirations of Willingboro being great. You know, I've even thrown community concerts here. I've had a concert. Brenda, I've done with you at we've had Billings in 2016.
Mr. Ringo, I don't want to cut you off.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to ramble. I just wanted just to let you know that Kia, I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm messing your name up. Mayor McIntosh. I am sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. I just wanted to let you all know, let you see my face. I'm kind of at work. I had to step in here, so sorry for the camera. Thank you for your time.
I just had one question for you. What percentage owner are you?
Well, I am right now I'm 5% owner. 5%. You know, but having equity was important for me. I wasn't coming on board as anything less than that because I wanted to be able to have the opportunity to help Willingboro myself if the organization, you know, wouldn't, but they're open to that as well, as you can see.
I appreciate your input. Thank you, MPH. If you don't mind hanging around for a second, we have one more presentation, and then there may be some comments from the community that maybe specifically or generally. I would appreciate if you hang around.
Sure thing.
All right, thank you so much. Ms. Blige, you can have JW Pursuit Holdings on.
I did. Ms. Hopkins, is there someone other than you?
Yes, it's Lucretia Davis and Joshua Weinberg.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay, Ms. Blige?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right.
So Lucretia, and who else was it?
Joshua Weinberg.
Okay.
All right, you have
Yeah,
them?
I think I'm on now. I'm going to, we will be all presenting, so I'm just going to share my screen. Can everyone see the slides?
Not yet.
Let me try this again.
Just be mindful, if all three of you are presenting, you got 10 minutes.
Okay. And you can't see it yet. Here, let me try it this way. Can you see it now?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
All right, good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Dolores Hopkins. I, along with my partners, Lucretia Davis and Joshua Weinberg, recently applied for a dispensary license in Willingboro. First and foremost, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. I'm a resident and proud owner in Willingboro, homeowner in Willingboro. It means the world to me if I could become a minority business owner in my town, give back to my community. I was born and raised nearby in Trenton, New Jersey. However, Willingboro has always felt like home to me. I have cousins, friends, and colleagues that reside in Willingboro. I remember going swimming in the L-shaped pool, visiting the mall on 130 in different stores on Rancocas. When I was a little girl, I always said when I buy a home, it will be in Willingboro. And so it came to pass. When I got a little older, the dreams changed. I started saying, I want to be a business, have a business in Willingboro. And here we are today with a real shot of that happening. I think Willingboro became a permanent part of my life about 12 years ago when my mother passed away. I moved my dad to Willingboro into a senior living building, ironically across from where the L-shaped pool was located. Every time I would visit my dad, I thought about my visits to Willingboro growing up as a kid. My dad had a great life in Willingboro. He joined the pool team at the senior building. He also attended many events, especially where he was showing off his new suit. Every time I saw the smile on his face, I couldn't help but see myself living in this community. And that's why I bought a house here and made my home here. Unfortunately, my father passed in 2020 from COVID. It was very hard on me, and it still is very hard on me, but I can say the support I received from the senior building was amazing. I love being a part of the community. I love the local shops. In the summer, my grandchildren go swimming on the weekends on Rancocas and Pennypacker. They also enjoy the many festivities I did growing up. I can go on and on about Willingboro. However, I know I have 10 minutes. In short, I believe in giving back. Willingboro has given so much to me. Now I want to give back to Willingboro. I want to establish a business here that will bring jobs and bring a vibrant retail location that will attract many to its doors. I want to make sure that Willingboro is a vibrant place in the future, just like it is now the present, so dear to my heart. I do believe my establishing this business in this town will help me give back in a meaningful way. We have already taken steps to going here. We have applied for the MWBE certification, which we will receive once operational. We have a property waiting to be purchased, and we have already started interviewing contractors in anticipation of doing a quick construction and quick opening. If I am chosen for this opportunity, our goal is to be up and running as soon as possible. And I would like to hand this over to Josh Weinberg with the logistics. Thank you.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you guys again.
We can't see your screen.
You can see it?
No. Can anybody else see it? No, we don't see it. Not on this one.
All right, briefly.
Hold on one second. Okay. Can you, now you can see?
Yes.
Okay. So it goes without saying that our dispensary is going to have state-of-the-art. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. I'm a partner of Dolores, and it is an absolute privilege to both be her partner and to be here speaking with you. I have many years of experience in the cannabis industry. I developed cultivation and manufacturing facilities and also dispensaries. I have experience in every aspect of this business, from how plants grow to how to raise money to make plants grow, how to market products and how to sell them to consumers. It seems like I've had to encounter almost every single obstacle in this industry and then overcome it. And recently developed a vertically integrated operation in Michigan, and in the process of doing the same thing in other regions and working to do so in New Jersey as well. Because of my past challenges, and my ability to overcome those challenges, I feel like I'm an ideal partner for Dolores and Lucretia. I will be directly involved with the financial and operational aspects of the business. I will work to impart whatever knowledge I can to Dolores and Lucretia and help them so we may help one another and ultimately help the township. And a dispensary, as you know, will help the township. There's tax benefits, and we will push hard to hire local. We're going to drive as much traffic as humanly possible to this dispensary. And with
5 minutes.
With more customers, the more other businesses will benefit. You could just imagine a world. Our property is on 621 Beverly Rancocas Road, where someone gets laying at the dispensary, then heads to the Chinese restaurant or the mini mart. Business leads to business. And I want to echo some things that were said that are self-evident to me. It goes without saying that our security and our odor is going to be state-of-the-art. It's required by the CRC, and it's true in every single dispensary that I've ever been involved with. What we have security cameras from every single angle. We have carbon filters that reduce odor. In terms of community giving, I'm going to rely on Dolores to direct us. but it is absolutely imperative from our company perspective that our people are local, that they're engaged in the community, whether it's volunteering, and certainly we're going to give back as much as humanly possible to the community. We're aiming for $100,000 a year in places to give back to. To be completely honest, it's difficult to actually, sign these letters of intent and actually get these things done until you're operational. But I'm going to be relying on Dolores a lot as someone with the grassroots connections all over town to hopefully direct us to the right locations. I didn't want to focus and bore you with odor control plans and security plans during this presentation, because we're going to do to the Class A highest degree in those things. Instead, I wanted to focus on one thing, and that is the construction of our facility and our intent to build out as quickly as possible. We chose an existing site, not a new build site, where we can get it running fairly quickly. It's just a retail shop. And I wanted to share with all of you some prior work we've done and how we've been creative in dealing with some projects that have had difficult architectural challenges. So this property was an old billiards hall. Does everyone see the property?
Yes.
If you could see on the left-hand side, that was the before picture. You could see it during construction. And then after we were done with it, we took basically something that was a completely dilapidated building in town and at incredibly breakneck pace, made it into something that was beautiful and shining architecturally. Next slide, you see the same thing that we did on the inside. I mean, it's pretty amazing, actually. The entire building was slanted. Everything was out of whack. None of the dimensions were proportional. And we made this beautiful building. If you see on the left-hand picture, you see those panels there. That is actually done by local artists from the city that we were in.
You have 2 minutes.
That's certainly something that we're going to try to do in Willingboro as well. Try to find local artisans, local craftsmen to not only employ as people in the dispensary, but also help with the design and elements of the dispensary. And here are some, final pictures from the project. You could see the finished product was unbelievable. The inside, it was a complete gut job. There were slanted ceilings everywhere. It was a logistics nightmare, but it just, within 4 short months, we were able to transform this dilapidated billiards hall into this breathtaking dispensary. And we really hope to do the exact same thing with the old AFCO Federal Credit Union building. We want to get it up and running quickly, and we want to make it the cream of the pie. And then, as I said, Dolores is from Willingboro. She's front and center on this dispensary. She's going to make sure that we find good causes to give to. If we benefit, I want very much for my partner's hometown, Dolores, to benefit too. And she's all about bringing, no one cares about Willingboro more than Dolores. And we're all about giving back to the community and through both charitable means in terms of dollars given and on volunteer efforts as well. And well, hopefully we're going to be pretty creative in terms of those dollars. Obviously, we'll have to coordinate with the city and things of that nature, but maybe we can help sponsor events and 4th of July parades and things of that nature. But it's something we're looking forward to and we're incredibly excited to be a part of. And thank you again for this opportunity to speak here today and this opportunity to submit this application.
Thank you, Mr. Weinberg. Thank you, JW Pursuit Holdings. Does council have any questions?
Yes, I do. Similar question to the others, Mr. Weinberg. Thank you for your presentation, by the way. My question is, with regards to the material, will this material cannabis be developed in your facility, or will you be receiving the material prepackaged?
We will not be developing any cannabis in our facility. We're just a Class 5 retailer. We will be receiving it from other producers in the state.
Okay.
Is that all, Councilwoman Perrone?
Yeah, that was the only question I had.
Thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Weinberg? I'm just curious. I'm sorry if I'm not looking at it correct, if I don't see it or I miss this in the packet. Who are the percent owners Or who are the
Dolores is a 51% owner.
Okay.
I am, Lucretia's, I think, 2.5%, and I'm 46.5. I might have gotten my numbers a little bit butchered, but bear
Okay.
with me. I believe that, no, those are the correct
Ms.
numbers.
Hopkins is primary.
Yes, Ms. Hopkins is the
Okay.
primary owner. I mean, I wouldn't have done this project without Dolores's involvement. Every project we do, it's important that we are engaged locally, and I mean, Dolores is running I have full faith and confidence. We're a great team. I love working with her, and I'm so excited about what she's going to do to this town that she loves. I mean, there's no one better, I think, in Willingboro to run a Willingboro dispensary.
Thank you. And what would be your anticipated timeline for construction?
I think we can get this thing going, right away. And we'll close on the property through February. It's just a retail shop. It's not a new build, and it's not as a fairly, you saw the project that I gave you, which was like an old billiards hall, which took a lot of, and we were able to do that quickly. This one, it's just a kind of a sign and an interior build out. It's relatively clean. I think we can get it up and running in 4 to 6 months.
Okay, and are you aware, if you're in, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure in that area, we're not running into, any problems with, distance to church or child care facilities?
I submitted maps with the application showing our distance. I don't think we're in any way, shape, or form close to those items.
All right. Okay, any other questions?
One other thing, I forgot to add, is one of the things that drew me to the site as well was the parking. A lot of underused parking, because unfortunately, maybe beforehand there was a lot of traffic at that complex, but it seems like there's a lot of parking spots all the time now.
Okay, well, thank you. We're about to go into public comment. So if you stick around, there may or may not be some questions directly for you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're going to move on to public comments. You have 4 minutes for any comments, questions, or concerns. Please state your name and address for the record.
All right, Pat Lindsay Harvey.
Good evening, everyone. It's Pat Lindsay Harvey, Hadley Lane. Now, public comment on everything or just this particular subject?
Everything.
Okay, let me do the cannabis first. As president of the Willingboro Community Development Corporation, I have not received any calls or correspondence from Blue Violet. And I think I would suggest to them before they use anyone's logo that they get permission prior to, because I was not very happy to see our logo up there without my permission. That's number one. Number two, I was glad to see that there are some companies that do have people that reflect the community and are people who are residents of Willingboro. There was a mention during the budget portion about internships. And yes, as a commissioner of the MUA, we have had a very successful internship program for several years. It involved high school and college students. Both were paid. It was educational and also career driven. And there have been times we have hired, times later, we have hired some of those very students at the MUA. Lastly, as the chair of Environmental Commission, I submitted a small budget for the commission. There have been at least 3 workshops or conferences that I've attended this year that have been very beneficial for information that we bring back to the community. One was the Shade Tree Conference that Steve Silverstein and I attended. It was absolutely awesome. Maybe you're not excited about trees, but I can tell you it was absolutely fascinating. You can tell a lot by the rings of a tree. Did you know that municipalities should have a municipal arborist and that every single tree in the municipality should be inventoried and counted, which would help with if trees are removed or if trees are diseased. We have ash trees in Willingboro that are having problems with disease. There's one street, Garland Lane, who has, they're called thornless honey locusts. Every single one on that street is diseased. So if we had an inventory of all trees, we could have that information that we could give residents. Also, there are some programs that we want to do next year regarding sustainable New Jersey so that we can get the township certified. One of the things we want to do is a green fair. There's also information that we could provide to residents, you know, with reference to different kinds of shrubberies and trees, because a thornless honey locust is not really good for this area because it does not survive in our soil, which is one of the reasons why the tree is diseased. So that's basically what I have this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay Harvey.
NAACP.
Yes, this is William Weston, 44 Bosworth Lane. Yeah, I just wanted to make a statement. First, I would like to speak as just a resident and not in official capacity. But from the standpoint of having the businesses on the peripheral locations in Willingboro as opposed to internally, and the any business that would prefer, if we were to allow a cannabis business to be in the town, of course, it should prefer to be staffed locally with local Willingboro residents as much as possible. Now, speaking as the president of the Willingboro Vicinity NAACP, we have not communicated with any cannabis businesses. And I just wanted to make that statement for clarity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weston. Is there anyone else for public comment?
Former Mayor Martin.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. First, I have several questions, and I want to put it out there that I thought someone called me to tell me that this was on. I was not aware. I did not hear it at your last meeting that you was going to have this, because not everybody spends a lot of time paying attention to the council meetings now that I'm no longer mayor. But the public needs to know a little bit more. If you got 5 entities that want to do this, you need to let the public and advertise it well, and not just a week or two advertising it. And then I had some questions. So here goes my questions I wrote down. So did you guys change the ordinance to allow the recreation facility, the class 5? Because when I was mayor, I caught hell for trying to have a municipal dispensary in town. So now you want to do a recreational. I'm not passing judgment on it at all, but I am saying that the public needs to know that. Number 3 is the proposals. Are you guys going to put them out? Do I have to open them, or are they going to be for the public to just come up and get a copy of the 5 proposals? Is there no longer no footage from a school or a site? Because one of the issues with the market up on 130, the town center, was that the school there, the charter school, blocked everybody except where the old Cotman transmission was up across Van Sciver. That school blocked it also, unless there's no footage. As I tell you again, I have not been following this, but now I am going to follow this like before. The the odor nuisance or mitigation, mitigate, to deal with that. That's a very serious matter that one should really pay attention. I do understand that the packages are not like the others. We've got to make sure that that is not. You're also next to the library, especially up at the town center. Someone said you're going to be voting on this tomorrow. Is that true? Number 7, and what is the benefit to the community? What is the tax benefit to the community that they could benefit everybody, not just a couple schools? And wouldn't the money be used better to give to the school district, unless they're getting a cut of the taxes, which they normally do? We need to do that. Now, are the vendors already saying they have the Class 5 license and they are looking for a physical space in the town, or they have to apply for the license? I missed that because I came into this late. And I did not get the first address of the first presenter. I came in towards the end. That's why I really want to take a look at this across the board. The 130 corridor on 130, other than inside the town, I think that residents really should have a say about that. What is the best spot, or over there by the hospital, which has its own unique zoning when Levitt built this town. Now, I've been here 36 years and been in school board, a whole bunch of stuff, involvement. And I'm trying to figure out this last one's APCO. I know of an APCO on the corner of right as you're leaving Willingboro. I know of APCO across the street in the East Ridge. I'm trying to figure out where this APCO particular place, I don't remember. I remember buildings, Fidelity Bank. I remember all those, but not sure where this is.
Mr. Knock, your time is up.
Oh, you didn't give me a warning, Miss Belijah, but okay, no problem. Love you too.
Thank you, Mr. Knott.
All right.
Jacob Levinson.
Yes, hi. Guys, I just wanted to take an opportunity to apologize for my misstatement of support from the communities, from the partnership organizations that we had mentioned. We took a risk, Theo and I, in
I'm sorry to
presenting-
interrupt you, Mr. Levison, but this is Mr. Levison from Blue Violet, right?
Yes, Mayor McIntosh.
Okay, just want to make sure for the record. Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to personally apologize for my misstatement, and I really hope that this doesn't detract from our ability to operate in Willingboro. We put an enormous amount of time and effort and passion into developing our project. We cited organizations that we have reached out to, whether by phone, by email, or the contact us pages on the website. We also put in the effort to visit these organizations that we could in person. And again, this is our desire to seek support from these organizations. I want to clarify that. And as I was saying, Theo and I maybe took a little bit of a risk in presenting this directly. We are obviously not the consultants on this project. We are the direct operators. And we feel like we put together a very, very strong application. And with any organization that we weren't able to reach directly, I would certainly encourage you to reach out to us via the information that we provided for contact on our application, so that we can speak more directly to the specific support that we would like to contribute. And again, I just want to apologize for our misstatements and misrepresentations. It was, of course, not any intention to mislead.
Thank you, Mr. Levinson.
Thank you.
Anyone else in public comment? Okay, it is 8:30 and public comment is now closed. All right, we can let this last one in.
Hi, this is Kushbu Choksi from Kush Dispensary. I just wanted to let everyone know that our address is 400 John F. Kennedy Way, Bolingboro Township. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it's 8:31 and public comment is now closed. I think a couple of the comments were addressed by Blue Lotus. I'm sorry. I apologize. Blue Violet, I apologize. About some feeling that they were misrepresented in the presentation. So I think that was addressed properly. Ms. Pat Lindsay Harvey, I did just receive your request for the budget, and I will share with council. I'm not sure if it was shared with the full council for the Environmental Commission. What I would ask is that you also present to council your findings and your learnings and how it can be applied to our community. You know, after you've gone to the seminars, it would be great if you can share with council, you know, some of your thoughts or the Environmental Commission's thoughts on what we can do to better our township. Former Mayor Knock, we will be voting on this tomorrow. Council has worked extensively in public on the ordinance, the cannabis licensing and operating ordinance. So I think we have done quite a bit of due diligence in public, open for public discussion and public comment. And this has been done during regular sessions, regular council sessions. So I do believe that we have done quite a bit of due diligence. You can check out the ordinance. The ordinance has the different classes that we're allowing. We are only allowing 2 retail within Willingboro. So everyone who has submitted has been for retail. So we only have 2 licenses for retail, just for clarifications. If I'm not mistaken, Madam Clerk, these proposals are available for Oprah?
Yes.
Okay.
And he asked
And I
about
think
the zoning ordinance also, Mayor, and the zoning ordinance was amended as well.
Right, in the ordinance. Okay, yes. And the tax benefit is also in this is the tax benefit in this ordinance? I don't
believe so. I have to double check. I don't believe that was in there.
But we'll discuss that tomorrow. I just gotta confer with the clerk tonight, between today and tonight and tomorrow. And we can get that clarification for you tomorrow, Mr. Knock. Is there anything I missed, council, from public comment?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
If you mentioned it, I think one of the questions was, will the presentations be available?
Yeah, former Mayor Knock can Oprah them.
Oh, it has to be Oprah. But now, because of the meeting being tomorrow, is it something that, I know Oprah has a process. Do you think that that's something, and maybe it's a legal question, I don't know, is that something that we can just provide to anyone that's asking, just so they have the information?
If it's tomorrow, they can come up to the conference room, Councilman Perron, and they can look at what we have. I definitely won't have time to print all the packets off to give to anyone by tomorrow, but
So they're available for public
review.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perron.
Okay.
Yeah, so for the public, the proposals are available for public review tomorrow. Are there certain hours, Madam Clerk?
It's a council meeting here till 5 and beyond.
Till 5. 9 to 5. Okay. Just for the public's information, they're 5 proposals. They are available for review by the public tomorrow. Just come up to the clerk's office. Anything else? I believe I answered everything from former Mayor Knock. We can move on to council comments. Are there any council comments? Dr. Worthy?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, Willingboro. I just want to say thank you for everyone coming out today to hear the presentations and to ask some questions. I do appreciate and accept the apology from Blue Violet. I don't like being misrepresented or the brand that we've worked very hard to build. So I appreciate the apology and the note of the misrepresentation. And I look forward to continuing to work with the council to make a decision that's best for Willingboro as we move forward in this area. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Worthy. Did you have anything, Councilwoman Perot?
Not necessarily. I just want to, I guess I was confused because I really would like for the council to have a working council meeting where we can, review what we would like to see for 2023 as it pertains to the budget. So I'm not sure if we're going to do that tomorrow or if we're going to schedule something later. But similar to what I've presented, if everybody's not comfortable with creating a presentation, that's fine. But I really want to hear from the rest of council as far as after reviewing and observing the presentations that were presented before us with regards to the budget, that we have some weigh-in on our thoughts and not necessarily only look at it as numbers. Numbers are a major factor, but also really deep dives into what was presented to us. So just wanted to put that out there. And that's why I think I asked it like 3 times. Are we gonna, is the council gonna be able to discuss? Because that's what I was hoping they would be able to do. It seems like we really weren't able to do it today. I know you presented the numbers, but will we have that opportunity later to do that?
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Perone. Just in reference to that, the intention was to go through the numbers like the other, an overview like the other departments. To your point, we can have further discussions. And that's up to, we can have it if that's up to, if council has, anything else they want to add. But I do appreciate your presentation. We can schedule another meeting. I can't promise it'll be by the end of this year. But whoever's in charge next year can, they'll definitely continue. I think it's a very fruitful and needed conversation. So I think it prudent to do so.
Right, because our budget's it's not needed to be approved until I think March.
Correct. So we have some time to, to kind of digest it, even if we do it in old business, take 20 minutes a time in old business, And the
other thing that I didn't include was the capital.
Yeah, we weren't even touching capital yet. We can do that during, with the township schedule for that. So, but we will definitely, there's a lot of information for the capital that will be discussed.
Okay, because I will present a similar presentation for the capital budget as well. But again, I think it's beneficial if we communicate as a council as far as our initiatives and our goals to give Mr. Harris a directive of, what we'd like to see. And of course, if not all, maybe something that we can move forward for 2023.
Agreed. I agree with that.
Thank you.
And I just want to say thank you for all the applicants for taking the time to present to us tonight. I think this was done to offer, some transparency to the community as to what we're, what our options are. Again, like I said before, council has been working on this and has been in public for over a year. So I do think, people who were interested, there was plenty of opportunity to make the statement, especially during the ordinance process. But I do appreciate the comments from the residents. It does keep our eyes open, to some blind spots. So I do appreciate that. And I appreciate council for taking the time to at least briefly discuss the budget, and we will have further discussion. So I appreciate everyone for coming out tonight. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 2022-196, resolution authorizing executive session. Madam Solicitor, please.
The purpose of the meeting is to discuss matters of attorney-client privilege and confidential negotiation matters. Minutes will be kept and released to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists, and action may be taken by council when it reconvenes in public session.
I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Perrone, seconded by Dr. Worthy. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perrone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
I believe you all have the info.
Okay,
All right.
Yes.
thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk.
We're not waiting for Lauren, are we good?
No, we're good, because I mean,
I need a motion to come out of executive session, please.
So moved.
Second,
moved by Dr. Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Roll call.
Councilwoman Worthy? I'm
Yes.
sorry, Councilwoman Perone,
yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes,
Continue, Mayor.
yes, please.
I need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second, moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Dr. Worthy. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays. Thank you. Good night. Thank you so
Right,
much.
It is 8:58.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.